Good morning, everyone. Wayne's Weird World, doing wonderful things. Now, 4 o'clock in the morning, when you wake up and your brain kicks in, people think about things, so I think about what I'd like to change with my orchids. Now, back over here, I've got a very large Laelia ansep Chamberlayana. It's like a monster. It's like a triffid. It just is taken over. There's a flower pot hiding up underneath there. And then it's like this one, what I call my 360 mounts. Some of these things just take over. Guttata, purpurata, tenebrosa. They go nuts. These things are going to be a meter or more tall. But I'm really not very happy with this mount, one of my early table mounts. This big one on the turntable, I'm quite happy with. Now, carrying it into your lounge room when it's in flower is not going to be an easy task. The little ones, much easier. So I'm going to change this one. So I started out when I'm preparing what I call my 360 mounts with a little drill bit. It doesn't go very far. So you get the bigger one. It didn't quite go far enough. So when that happens, you get out the big gun. 750 mils long, and it works a treat. Any longer, and I wouldn't be able to use it. I'm over 6 foot tall, and I would need much longer arms, which I don't think I could have unless somebody put me on the rack in the Inquisition. Now, I've got a decision to make, and I think I have. I always prepare more mounts than I can use. This one I like as this one, but which one is more suited for that orchid? I think this one. So you can go back up and rest, and we'll take this one. Now these little ones, they are going to get big, but they're not ready yet for something like that. Give them a couple years, I'll pot them on. This is a purpurata, and this is a purpurata anceps cross. This one's Edisa, and it will get big. But that's for another day. Not today. So the first thing we do, we have to free this one up. Hang on, you can rest for a wicket. Rest for a wicket. Like this. We just have to start cutting. This is why I like fish line, because I can remove it from an established mount or change a mount like this without too many problems. Here we go. And I just pull the fish line out. I always dispose of it by either melting it or burning it, because I'm not really interested in little creatures getting tangled up with it. I've seen too many seagulls, too many pigeons, minus toes. It's always a good idea to have a look. Now see this one, when you pull, that's an old dead root. So you can either strip it off or cut them. The advantage to stripping them is that you can always use that to help secure it to your mount. But I've got a tendency to want to do this. Just snip it off. Yep. Now some of the darker roots will be still viable, not that one. You can feel them. If they're not thick and fleshy, even though they're brown, they're past their use-by date. Yep, there's another one. But they will surprise you. I've had, one of these, I can't remember which one, looking like an old dead root, and it put out nice healthy new growth from, I'm going to cut that out. Sorry, it's got to fit on a mount. It'll be alright. And it put out a new root from what appeared to be an old dead root, an old brown one. So I always prefer to leave as much as I can. Yep. Yep. Out you go. Some of the old potting, get rid of it. Some of the old potting medium from its original pot that I didn't clean up very well. I'm not too fussed. I'm very careful about, very aware of back here, the new growth. I would have preferred to have waited until I had nice green new root tips growing, but some of the other ones are already putting out some really healthy growth, and if I wait too long and then I repot, it's going to set it back. This one, oh, excuse me, nose running. This one is a good healthy one, good healthy growth. Nice little green tips. I wouldn't want to disturb it right now. Okay, that's ready. I'll just rest it for a moment. I always try and have my mounts prepared beforehand, because otherwise you're sort of caught out trying to put a wire or hanger onto a mount after you've already mounted the orchid, which means you're very likely to damage it. So get your string on your mount first. Some people prefer wire. I don't like wire because it's hard to remove. Once the orchid is attached well and truly, you don't need to have the wire getting in the way. I'm putting 2 loops on here because the second loop is going to help me secure the tail. Because I've always been in the habit, I'll just cut off that little bit. I've always been in the habit of removing all tails, fish line, in the garbage. Because now I can put this by simply tucking the string through over the base. Normally I attach my line to the hanger, as I do with all of these. They're attached back up here, twist around, very, very easy to do. Easy place to secure it. But now that's secured, turn the loop around to the bottom, which is also where the other loop is going to be. Get that down there. Yep. And that's where I'll secure the other tail. Put it once around just to help it stay in place. Sphagnum moss. Again, have everything at hand so you don't have to go hunting. You don't need a lot. but I always like to have a little pocket underneath it. Now, I've got a choice. I might just put that new growth against the mount. I might have to hang it back up because otherwise it's going to be really, really hard to work with. Yeah. Something else. There's one. It's a band from a nylon stocking. It's just going to help keep everything from shifting while I work. Because the last thing I want to do is damage something. Okay. Now it's going to stay there. Now I can work. Tuck my sphagnum moss gently around the new growth. You don't have to do it very tight. In fact, if you pack it in too tight, you're running the risk of limiting its water absorption qualities. Now, I'm not going to even try and cover all the roots. I'm just going to tuck it in and amongst the roots. Now if I can get one more handful in here without it all falling off, as it does sometimes, I'll be happy. I'll tuck these ends in as I go. Now, if everything's going to hold still, I can start to wrap. Tuck it under there. Oh, don't bump. Don't bump. Yep, it's going to work. Try and crisscross it. This little rig that I have is inspired by the bobbins that people use for fly tying. And if you can manage to keep things from getting tangled when you're wrapping your line, it makes it so much easier. And now with this I can wrap it quite comfortably one-handed and turn the mount as I need to. Try and get it over the moss, under the root. I really don't need much more because it's holding very securely. Yep. Going to work just fine. A couple more turns here. That's the way it goes. Now, I just pull down a little bit of my tail. Just make sure I have enough. Put this back over so it doesn't tangle on me. I can sit out of the way. Take my tail. And I've got my other little loop here, ready to go through. Snug it back up. Have your tweezers ready, because this is where having only one end makes it a bit awkward, but I just tuck it through. Oop. Tuck it back under. Gonna be this, gonna be fussy now. Well, I'll let you people go. I'll put my label on. I'll finish tying off my knot, which I'm fumbling with at the moment. I don't have my reading glasses either. I can blame that. I've got to have an excuse, don't I? But you can really tuck it into any of those places. No, I've dropped my tweezers. But I can take care of that. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll see you next time. Laelia guttata, or Cattleya guttata, Laelia purpurata. We'll see how it goes. Thank you. Next time.